everyone. I just wanted to tell you about a program we're piloting this year called Project Core. So, this is a comprehensive AAC intervention program. They'll be assessing many research based instructional resources made available online through the Center for Literacy and Disability Studies based out of the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. There are many useful instructional materials for educators and speech language pathologists that was put together by a team of special educators and speech language pathologists who have spent their careers working with people who have significant disabilities, complex communication needs, and require AAC. In 2015, the research team at CLDS got a project funded by the Office of Special Education called Project Core. Over the last 5 years, they have developed many materials that schools around the world are now using to improve students' language and literacy. Here is an example of their website. Here is their website. You can find it at projectcore.com. Go down. So one of the resources we'll be using is called the 36 Universal Core. This is a small set of 36 highly useful words that can be represented by picture symbols for children who can't read or write yet, but also have these words can be used without pictures for the children who are learning to spell or read. These 36 words were chosen from these 36 words were chosen from words needed at school for daily learning and words that are used in many different places across the day with many different people and for different purposes. These 36 words were carefully selected from a much larger set of core vocabulary and were chosen as most useful across contexts after 4 to 5 years of classroom-based research in schools just like ours. So as you can see, there's multiple different variations of these same 36 words. So for children who have vision impairments, we have these 3D symbols. So they print out all of the 3D symbols using a 3D printer, and then the child will hold it in their hand, and that's how they access their words. So they can access it maybe on a board, or some students have it wrapped around their neck. For students who have vision impairments, but they can still see, we have these high contrast versions, which are black. They have a black background. And so they're more easily accessible for children who can see, but maybe need a little bit extra help to really see the words correctly. So we've got the 4 square, we've got a 9 square. This is for scanning for children who have devices. So each variation of these boards works for different kids. And throughout the year, we're going to be making sure that each student at George Key has the correct Project Core board, and they have a way to access it, whether through pointing with their fingers, looking, or using some sort of device. So throughout this year, myself, along with my SLPA Melanie, and our wonderful staff, and which we're very lucky to have on board, is Cal State Fullerton. We will be working on coaching parents on how Project Core works and how we can use these 36 words and how we can teach kids these 36 words so that they can learn to combine them and eventually use them to communicate. Just with these 36 words alone, you can combine them to make 2,600 messages, different messages. So they're highly versatile and they're so functional, and you can use it throughout your everyday life. So we're gonna watch one of these professional development videos. They're super, super helpful, especially if you kind of wanna, we're gonna have a parent night, but if you wanna learn about it yourself just a little bit ahead of time, I would highly recommend them. So we're gonna watch the Module 1 Project Core overview.
Welcome to the Project Core Professional Development Modules. Project Core is being conducted by the Center for Literacy and Disability Studies, a unit in the Allied Health Sciences Department at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. This module, Project Core Overview, is designed to provide an overview of the project's implementation program, including its focus, goals, and intended outcomes. Project Core is a multi-year effort aimed at creating an implementation program for teachers. It began with 2 years of development, during which time the Project Core team worked closely with teachers and students with significant disabilities in more than 25 classrooms. Beginning in the fall of 2017, the pilot phase of the project provided an opportunity to evaluate the impact of the program across more than 50 classrooms. The project will move into the final scale-up and dissemination phase in the year 2019. The program targets teachers. It offers the training tools and resources they need to take ownership of communication instruction for their students with significant disabilities. The program emphasizes evidence-based teaching practices and uses a core vocabulary approach to augmentative and alternative communication, also known as AAC. Underpinning this work is the belief that communication is a basic human right and that all individuals, regardless of the severity of their disability, have the right to instruction that will help them develop versatile communication skills. For students with significant disabilities, this instruction should permeate their school day and their life to the greatest extent possible. There are no prerequisites to participation in Project Core. The program is designed to build on all forms of communication, even if those forms are not conventional or even intentional. In fact, Project Core focuses specifically on teaching students who are not yet using speech, sign language, or symbols in flexible ways for varied purposes across topics and partners. Central to the implementation program is the belief that teachers and other classroom staff can acquire the knowledge, skills, and dispositions needed to help students with significant disabilities acquire versatile communication skills using a core vocabulary approach. Teachers and other classroom staff have a lot of contact with students on a day-to-day basis. This allows them to maximize opportunities for teaching and learning each day. Providing them with training and resources required to teach communication all day, every day, leads to greater opportunities for speech-language pathologists to provide more specialized support in the classroom. Successful teaching and learning relies on good communication partners. Project Core is designed to help adults become good communication partners by emphasizing a number of strategies. For example, Project Core helps teachers and other adults learn that good communication partners attribute meaning to student behaviors. This means they watch students and decide what they might be trying to communicate with each behavior. Then the adults name the behavior and act on it. For example, an adult might see a student reaching for a book on the table. The adult would say, "I see you reaching for that book. Do you want it?" And then the adult would hand the student the book. Project Core also emphasizes the fact that good communication partners ensure that students have access to augmentative and alternative communication, or AAC systems, at all times. Good communication partners also ensure that there is an AAC system that they can access to demonstrate how to use symbols to communicate at all times. Project CORE also focuses on the fact that good communication partners encourage communication without requiring it, and provide sufficient time for students to initiate and respond, while making sure there is something worthwhile to talk about. Each of these good communication partner practices is discussed throughout the Project CORE professional development modules. The Project CORE implementation program embeds communication instruction across the school day. Following the recommendations of decades of research, the implementation program supports teaching communication during common academic routines and daily activities, along with specials like art, music, and PE, and therapy times with related service providers like SLPs, PTs, and OTs. The core vocabulary approach to AAC that is at the heart of the Project CORE implementation program is not new. For decades, core vocabulary has been recognized as a relatively small set of highly useful words that are useful across purposes, places, and partners. Core vocabulary is conceptual. It includes words such as like, want, not, and go. The fact that these words are not concrete with single meanings is what allows for their flexible use. The core vocabulary in Project CORE is called the Universal Core. It is a prioritized list of 36 words. Each word is meaningful as a single word and can be combined meaningfully with other words in the Universal Core. All of the words in the Universal Core are useful across purposes, places, and partners. The project implementation program calls for all students to have personal access to the Universal Core vocabulary. Access to the Universal Core vocabulary may be provided on an AAC communication app or device, in the form of a print-based communication board or book, or through 3D symbols. Whatever form best suits the access needs of the student should be provided. Several print-based formats are available for the Universal Core vocabulary. Each of these formats can be explored and downloaded from the project website. These formats are intended as initial solutions. The program includes an online selection tool that helps guide initial decisions regarding the format that is most appropriate for each student. Each of the formats is available with 4 different types of symbols: PCS, PCS high contrast, symbol sticks, and widget symbols. This allows teachers and teams to match existing symbols if they have been using them. The Universal Core vocabulary words are available on many AAC systems with voice output, including communication apps or other speech-generating devices. When students have existing AAC systems, a simple key can be downloaded from the project website. It will help teams record where the Universal Core words are found on the student's existing system and help them find and demonstrate the use of words more easily. Finally, 3-dimensional symbols are available to represent select core words. Each tactual symbol includes a unique raised element, the printed word, and Braille. The program recommends starting with the 3D symbols for go, like, and not. These 3 words are flexible enough to use across environments and contexts to meet a variety of needs. For example, present the symbol for go each time the student is going to move. Present like each time the student expresses pleasure, and present not when the student expresses refusal or displeasure. Students have many reasons to go, express pleasure, and express displeasure or refusal every day. This means the symbols can be used with enough frequency that students with significant visual impairment and cognitive disability can learn to use them over time. The aim of our project is to create a comprehensive implementation program that empowers teachers and classroom staff to provide communication instruction in the classroom. In order to realize this goal, teachers need training and resources that build knowledge, skills, and dispositions. Additionally, they need opportunities to reflect and refine their practice. School-level instructional coaches play an important role in providing ongoing constructive feedback and support. Instructional coaches do not need to have prior training or experience with AAC, but they must be able to support the use of well-defined intervention practices. Coaches typically facilitate the delivery of the professional development modules that are part of the project implementation program. They also support instructional planning using tools that are provided and help teachers engage in self-reflection and constructive discussions as they put the teaching practices in place in the classroom. All of the implementation program components are available on the project website at project-core.com. You will find a series of professional development modules with versions to support facilitation of group instruction, as well as versions designed for self-directed learning on each topic. These formats are intended to allow schools to pick and choose which approach will work best based on the available days for professional development. There's an instructional planning guide that details the preparation and content needed for embedding communication instruction into common academic routines. There are also self-reflection and observation checklists for each of these academic routines to support teacher reflection and constructive discussions with coaches. Each of these routines are discussed in detail in this series of professional development modules. Additional resources include the Universal Core Vocabulary Selection Tool and each of the print formats described in this training. There is a collection of one-page implementation resources on various topics like aided language input and partner-assisted scanning, and a growing list of answers to frequently asked questions. You will find students' success stories that detail the ways that students have progressed as communicators as a result of Project Core. Finally, there are guidance documents for school administrators and coaches to support making an initial determination about the fit of the program for meeting the needs of students and teachers. These documents also provide guidance on how to move the program forward if the need is determined. Getting started with Project Core begins with a determination of the fit of the program to meeting the needs of your students and teachers. After you have determined the implementation program has potential to address your needs, create a plan for completing the professional development modules and accessing the resources for the program. Finally, practice the new strategies in the classroom, engage in self-reflection, and seek and provide ongoing helpful feedback along the way.